What's up, YouTube? This is MetallicTCG here, coming at you with a different type of video that we're doing for Duel Links for April 30th, 2021. If you're new to the channel, don't forget to hit the subscribe button and comment down below what you're most excited for when it comes to this box, because I'm definitely kind of curious about it. So, Eternal Stream is now live here on Duel Links, so I decided to kind of take like a moment just like kind of assess and kind of like look at it. I have seen like some cards that were leaked for it, but nothing like really concrete. So I do want to take a look and be able to see what we actually are getting and kind of go from there. So, because there are a few things that I think are pretty cool. Like the fact that we're actually getting Excalibur without being any kind of nerfed or modified is pretty nice. I mean, honestly, sometimes just having a really big boss monster, 4,000 attack is actually pretty good, just to be able to help get over big problematic threats. We are getting Neo Galaxy's Photon Dragon, which is pretty nice. Having a huge effect negation is pretty nice, and the fact that you can detach materials from monsters your opponent controls is really good because it gives it additional attacks, but it also takes away your opponent's resources. I'm seeing that there's some new cards being added that are more recently newer in the TCG, like the Dream Mirror cards, which is pretty interesting too. I might actually take a look into this deck because I've always heard it had like a really interesting mechanic when it comes with like with the light and the dark one that's going on. So I might have to do a little bit more looking into that. A huge selling point for the deck, which really seems to be Fire Fist, because honestly, we're getting all the other Fire Fist in this deck. I believe there's still other cards spread throughout the entire set itself, like within Duel Links. We're also getting Tenki. Tenki is huge. Considering the fact that it's basically reinforcement of the army buffer Beast Warrior type, this is actually pretty big. And honestly, there's actually quite a few decks that can actually benefit from this card as well, such as Luna Lights, which is actually the first one that comes to mind. So having Tenki is actually a pretty good addition as well. I am pretty psyched to see Grappa, Dragon Lord of the Dark World. Dragon Lords are an old deck in Yu-Gi-Oh! That's been like a thing since Yu-Gi-Oh! GX, but considering that we have this in Duel Links, I might look into building Dark Lords, but I don't know. I've heard it's pretty expensive. We're also getting, this is actually a only card that's like 2 years old. Dark Ruler No More. Negate the effects of all face-up monster your opponent currently controls until the end of this turn. Also, for the rest of the turn, if this card resolves, your opponent takes no damage, and your player can activate monster effects in response to this card. Being a spell speed 4 where your opponent cannot reactivate or react to this is pretty huge, and the fact that it also negates them all is insane, because again, effects, especially like extra deck driven monsters, can seal the game pretty rough. Like, it's really good. Like, honestly, this is gonna be a really interesting, and one of the cards I probably want to have at least a few copies of. We are getting some cards such as UA Power Jersey. Honestly, I don't really know where UA stand in this game, so I'm not too concerned with that. Dream Mirror of Terror, the field spell when it comes with the Dream Mirrors, which seems to be like the heart and soul of the deck. Each time your opponent special summons a monster, inflicts 150 to your opponent. That is interesting. You can banish this card during the end phase, activate one Dream Mirror of Joy directly from your hand or deck. So that's actually pretty interesting. Do we actually have that in this set? Yes, we do. So during your end phase, you can activate Terror. Dream Mirror monsters you control cannot be targeted by your opponent's card effects or their monster's attacks. So that's actually pretty interesting. The fact they kind of like tutor each other out is really interesting. And that seems like it's going to be a really interesting deck mechanic that I kind of want to look into as well, because as you may see with some of the decks I do play here on Duel Links, I tend to be more on the fun/casual side, but you know, if there's a top tier meta deck that I really enjoy playing just for the fun of playing the deck, I'm usually down to build it as well. We also have the addition of the Raccoons, which is really interesting. I used to play this deck a ton back in the TCG, so with it being in Duel Links, I might kind of see like how some builds go, and it seems like it might be a fun little budget deck. Since we have Tan and Pokonoko already as rares, and this is a super rare. Though I'm not too sure on how hard it is to actually get Obedience schooled in this deck and in this game itself, so that might be something to look into as well. We have some of the ritual support for Fire Fist. I'm not too sure how like consistent or how good the Ritual Fire Fist lineup is, but it is a nice little additional option. The fact that you can discard a monster to set a fire formation spell or trap directly from your deck is pretty nice. And the fact that we have a quick effect to negate effects is, you know, pretty standard in today's Yu-Gi-Oh!, but it's not bad at all. We are getting some other cards such as Eternal Galaxy for more Galaxy support. Again, it seems like the huge focus here is just getting additional support for Galaxy Eyes, Fire Fist, because there's already a little bit of some Dark Lords. There's some pretty cool stuff here. I'm also pretty happy to see that Trap Hole's a thing. Honestly, Trap Hole can be pretty strong in certain decks, especially more in the casual, like where the normal summon is so much more important. I mean, again, in competitive Duel Links, we're kind of in a focus where special summoning is everything. So Trap Hole may not be able to hit super hard, but there are going to be some Trap Tricks cards we might be able to take advantage of within Duel Links to be able to give this card a little bit more utility. We are actually getting Heroic Challenger Assault Halberd. I kind of like this card, honestly, because it's a Cyber Dragon but level 4, and it can do piercing damage, and when it does do piercing damage, you can add one heroic card from your deck to your hand. Honestly, the TCG used to have a Heroic Challenger Assault Halberd and also Thousand Blade engine that is actually pretty good that you can combine with Clown Blade. I don't think we actually have Performafoul, you know, the Clown, be able to take advantage of that full engine. But the fact that this thing can special summon itself, do some piercing damage, and also search when it does do battle damage is pretty nice. If you're not able to get that piercing damage and search, it's still pretty good just to be able to spam for rank 4. So honestly, I think Challenger Assault Halberd might be able to be potentially good, or if not better, when we get more support down the road for him. And we're also getting the additional Fire Physics that are actually really, really good, like Cardinal and, of course, Lion Emperor. With Lion Emperor, you can also be able to get a search for a fire from your graveyard and add to your hand, which is not too bad. Its stats are pretty respectable as well for being a rank 3 for 2. And Cardinal, you can detach 2 from this and target 2 Fire Fist formations in your graveyard or face up on the field, and 2 cards in your opponent's graveyard or face up on their file of the field and shuffle them to the deck. So the fact that it just gets rid of them back into the deck is actually pretty good, because sometimes destruction is not all that it's cracked up to be, but sending to the deck can be pretty nice. So that's also really good too. So, but again, also the ZW weapons, gonna be interesting to see how this take does impact any type of future Utopia builds, but I suppose that's what we're gonna look into. We are also getting Onomatopoeia, which is actually pretty good. I mean, when I first read this card, I thought it was actually pretty broken, but then I realized you have to summon Utopia monsters, which honestly is not too bad. You could just summon number 39 Utopia and then go into, like, you know, Chaos Utopia Ray. But still, removing 2 high 5 the counters, build special on Zua Ba Ba Ba, Ga Ga Ga, Do Do Do, or Go Go Go. Honestly, not too bad. Like, you know, I'm not too sure how consistently you'll be able to pull off, but it's still pretty nice. We're also getting some more stuff such as Full Armor Black Ray Lancer. So, honestly, for what it's worth, I would say that this box, I mean, it's pretty cool. Like, we're also getting some cards like Rooster as a rare. Rooster is such a powerful card for the Fire Fist deck. When this card is special summon the effective Fire Fist monster, you can add a Fire Fist monster from your deck to your hand. So basically, having a Rhoda is really nice. And then once per turn, you can send a face-up Fire Formation spell you control to the graves, and then set one from the deck. So again, just having the tutor ability is really nice. We are getting also from the rare such cards like Tensu. Tensu is really good for that additional normal summon to go for your rank C plays. We are getting the other Dark Worlds as well, such as Beige, which is pretty cool. Beige is just really good by discarding because you get the special summon it right away. We also have Bambi here, which is going to be nice for, like, you know, the Raccoon deck that I kind of mentioned earlier. Stoic Challenge and Gaga back are interesting additions as well. Gaga back just simply being for able to special summon monsters from the graveyard to be able to go for, like, your C plays, which it's pretty cool. I mean, you do have to have a monster, Gaga, destroyed by battle and sent to the graveyard. Not likely to happen because usually you're pretty much going to go for, you know, like your Utopia C plays, but it is something. I'm just not too sure how well this will actually, you know, be utilized. But honestly, with this box itself, I can definitely say I don't have a major upset regarding, like, what the box is. I might look a little bit more into it before I start dropping some gems here on this set, but overall, I would say that I'm pretty content with it. If you are happy with the box, definitely let me know in the comment section below, and also what you're most excited for it. If you think this garbage, if you think this box is pure garbage, let me know in the comment section below. I've been MetallicTCG. You all have a great rest of your day, and thank you for listening to me rant about 1 minute and 4 seconds for this box.